Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Friday edition of the Ysn Power Hour presented by Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley, Scotty Mincher joining you on this Friday. Look at you looking like CC Sabathia with that crooked-ass hat.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to pick up on that. It got like I was trying to adjust it and then it got crooked. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to roll with this today, pun intended. I'm like, I'm going to throw it back and go CC. So
I love it. I love it, Scotty. It's Friday. The weekend is here for a lot of us. Some of us are staring it dead in the face. And my friend, I know you've got all kinds of plans for this weekend specifically, probably because it is Father's Day. So you get to celebrate your dear old dad, which we all here in YS Nation know and love very much, except for when it comes to talking about Browns football. Otherwise, your dad is the tops of the tops. What's got you excited for this weekend there, Mr. Mincher?
Just appreciating the time I'm gonna have with my dad. I know you know this, DJ. Life, you're never guaranteed tomorrow. I know that you wish you would have had more time with your dad, and you probably cherished every moment that you did have, and you would tell me, we had conversations about it. You would tell me what a great guy he was and how influential he was to the person you would end up becoming, and how he was like a super nice guy. Like, he didn't like confrontation at all whatsoever. Like, he couldn't pick between the Browns and the Steelers and things like that. Um, so I know you know all about that, and you post about your dad quite often, and I see it, and it definitely makes me appreciate more the time I have with my dad. Not to get everyone all on the press train here,
Oh,
but
I know, man. I need to bust out these tissues. This is getting rough already.
yeah, already we just started, but it's more just about because of my dad. Like, he's the reason I'm so passionate about sports like I am today. And if it wasn't for him, I definitely wouldn't have teamed up with you. So
Oh.
that's something every day I could thank my dad for. So I'm just looking forward to hanging out on Sunday, having a good time, maybe having an adult beverage or two, and just hopefully watching the Guardians get another victory.
It's Scott Resitar saying Happy Father's Day, buddy. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Not only the ones that are, the ones that aren't, that want to be someday. In my heart, in my mind, you're all fathers too. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy to be a dad, but it's certainly not easy to become one either. So, happy Father's Day
And
to all of
by
you.
the way, you've been a unbelievable dad,
Oh man.
DJ.
Well,
Um,
thank you. I'm seriously gonna need these tissues here in a minute, Scott, if you keep this up. But no, and I think today we should probably talk about fathers in sports and how important those dads are. And this is gonna sound crazy, but the moms that have to be a dad sometimes, and I mean that in the most loving way, not necessarily from any political standpoint, but the moms that step into those roles that aren't always quote unquote suited for them, playing catch in the backyard and doing some things. And my dad worked awful hard when I was growing up, and he had a job that kept him away from the house, in a sales capacity and stuff like that. And he worked out of Pittsburgh for the early portion of my life. And my mom actually was the one that took me out in the backyard and would pitch to me. and teach me how to catch. My dad was a huge advocate for me and my sister and everything. And yeah, you mentioned it, and I'm not going to go too far down this road, but I lost my dad when I was 23 years old. And really for me, that's kind of like when the tide was turning. Like every 18-year-old, and I'm not probably breaking any news to any dad or mom out there, every 18-year-old knows everything about the world, right? You can't tell them anything. They're invincible. They know everything about everything. And you graduate college, you start learning a little bit more about life and some of the lessons that it gives, and you realize your parents were right about a lot of stuff along the way. And my dad and I didn't always have the best relationship from a standpoint of seeing eye to eye, but we were just entering that point of the dad, like, hey, dad, you were really right about this, and you were really right about that. And what do I do here? And what do I do there? And then we lost him. And it has been, it's been tough. It's been tough because I mean, anytime that you think about becoming a dad, you think about your dad. When you be, there's moments in life that any athlete or any son or daughter has that you visualize people with you. And a lot of that stuff growing up, especially as a boy, let's be honest, you idolize your dad. Your mom can do anything she wants sometimes, but your dad can do no wrong. Like your dad is your idol. He is the one and only person. Now, that doesn't matter if your dad's a good person, bad person, or the greatest person in the world. Um, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because sometimes dads aren't so great, and sometimes they're the best people in the world. And as you get older in life, you are able to kind of realize who are the ones that are there for you and who are the ones that aren't. So I want to celebrate dads. I do. Whether you are one, whether you are going to be one, and whether you always wanted to be one, because I've been in that boat too. And it's not easy because you look at Father's Day and wanting to be a dad and not having a dad is really tough. But as I said on the show yesterday, Scotty, being a dad now, it's the greatest thing in my life. It really is. And you know, telling people, okay, let's pump the brakes on all this D1 talk. Like, there's a difference. Like telling people, oh, you know what? Every parent thinks their kid's going to go D1, and then my kid goes 13 for 13 in T-ball, and I'm calling the Pirates. Like Z is going to be the next Andrew McCutcheon. I firmly believe that. So now I get it. I'm seeing life through a different lens. But no, I mean, for you, like you've relied on your parents a lot. Your dad has been a huge advocate, but sports has been a huge impact in your life, Scotty, or else you wouldn't be with us here at YSN. What was it about your dad and kind of the way you looked up to him that really got you going into sports?
It was just the way um, he used sports as a tool. He really used it as a tool to kind of bring us together and make us have that special bond. And he definitely, he for sure spoiled me. I was a spoiled little boy growing up because he took me to so many, um, at the time, Indians, um, and Cavs games. There was a period the Browns were gone, so not as many Browns games. But
They were?
he took me to so many Indians and Cavs games over the years. I'll never forget, because like you, DJ, I'm old enough to remember Jordan, unlike some people who will always say that, LeBron, no one could touch him, like somebody like Quinn, I'm old enough to remember Jordan. And I know it's hard to argue against that man, especially after watching something like The Last Dance. But my dad got me tickets. It was my 10th birthday, and it was Jordan's last prime year with the Bulls, the year they won the '96 championship, and the Cavs played the Bulls again. Gund Arena, it was at the time, and he got me tickets to that game. And ironically, Jordan still had a really good game, but ironically, the Cavaliers blew out the Bulls that night. I'll never forget that. But I was a huge Jordan fan growing up, so I just remember my dad telling me like appreciate this guy. Like he would let me stay up late at night when the Bulls were on national TV because he would get
Uh-oh. 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 I think we lost Scotty. We'll see if we can get him back here. Um, yeah, so we're talking about dads. We're appreciating dads here today. One of the coolest things we talked yesterday about the battle for the range and the 8U 10U girls softball that happened last night. And as we're talking about dads, I just want to give you a moment that I haven't shared with anybody yet. And I was able to take this in. And I think for me, it was really cool to see this because you had dads obviously on that are coaches and volunteers. When we talked to Brandy Angus yesterday, she said, you know, parents are such a huge integral part of youth sports because a lot of times those are the volunteers that end up being the parents, or I'm sorry, the coaches, being the parents. So last night, from my point of view, it was really cool to see. Now, number one, this whole thing wouldn't have started without a parent getting involved. Chad Bailey, specifically, point him out. You're the man that said, "Hey, we're doing this. Would you ever have interest in immediately?" My answer was yes, immediately. And then everything kind of fell together. I got a call yesterday before the show, and it was Jimmy Joe Savage, who does a lot of pictures for East Liverpool, but had connections to this game that he's doing a solid for his somebody in his family, right? That was the coach of one of the teams, and all of a sudden, hey, I'm going to be at this South Range game, you know, taking pictures, and I jaw dropped, slack jawed, as Andy Hake would say, and I was like, hey, wait, I'm going to be there too. Let's do this something special. So tonight, you know, I'm going to release an article, and I know I'm a little bit late, but I've had some meetings today, so I do apologize to the South Range baseball and softball community. We're going to have it up for you, and we're going to list as many names as humanly possible. And JJ, as I call him, Jimmy Joe, always does a great job with these photos, and last night was no exception. Did a phenomenal job. But what I'm trying to get to, the point I'm trying to get to, is Scotty Mincher returns here, is the dads, right? Everybody was grateful, but the dads took that moment in. 8U was coach pitch, and I believe 2 of the dads were the ones pitching. And you could just tell that they were embracing every single moment because some of them will never be out there with their daughter again pitching because the next level is kids pitch against each other, which we saw in the 10U. So I was able to take that in for a little bit and you know, without getting, and I'm an emotional guy, without getting too emotional, it was really cool to see. And sometimes, and I don't know if everybody's like this, but it's one of those things where sometimes you can kind of see yourself in that role. You know, you see yourself pitching to your son or your daughter in the backyard or on the field and being a coach. And then I'm grateful enough because a lot of my friends are have kids that are, you know, middle school age and getting older into the high school ranks now. And you know that they long for those days that we're about to go through. You know, they wish they had one more game where they can pitch to their 5-year-old, one more game that they could pitch, you know, and enjoy that moment because so many times, and I think as dads or as even as sons or daughters, we look at that and we say, oh gosh, I got to go out there and pitch to. And there's a moment, as Scott Resitar says, amen. There's a moment, Scotty, that we all look at and we go, man, I wish I had that back. And, you know, when your son or your daughter is going off to college to play, you know, college ball, you look at those nights, those days, those mornings, whatever it is, in the backyard, in the side yard, or where you take them to an athletics, you take them here, you take them there, and you know, you miss it. You miss it. And not just miss it like miss the time together, but you miss the actual thing. You miss the actual opportunity to pitch and to kind of pass on life's lessons. And I mean, at least for me, a lot of those life lessons that I was learning through baseball with mom or dad turned into life lessons of, hey, you know why we make our bed every morning, right? Because I mean, you start off with a task done. You know why we do this. You know why we don't do this, right? And it's throwing the ball around the backyard was always our way of communicating. And I think so many parents are able to do that because it's as easy as sitting down to a meal, right? It's always easier to talk about things when you're breaking bread or you're having a drink. For me, it was always shooting hoops or playing catch in the backyard or you know I didn't have a golf club till I was like 16, but pretending in the backyard with my baseball bat and my baseball and that I was golfing. It's having these conversations and sitting on the steps and doing it. And I think a lot of these coaches that our parents miss it. I mean, I know Jeff DeRose, who still coaches to this day for South Range. Um, very, very emotional guy who I love very much. And, his daughter was a premier softball player, Scotty, premier softball player. Went on, I believe, the Slippery Rock to play. And, but he'll tell you, and quite honestly, everybody will, that they miss those days that 4, 5, 6 years old, and you're just tossing balls in the backyard. Now, I will tell you that there are casualties of war. There are there are casualties because I was pitching a Z in the backyard the other day, and I took one off the shin, and then I pitched the next pitch, and I took it right off the cheek. So, there. But as a dad, you're excited because they're smoking that ball right back at you, and it's not just like these dribblers. It was an absolute line drive. I've got a bruise on my shin, and I had a because we're pitching wiffle balls in the backyard, and I had the dots all over my face, like I had some kind of disease underneath my beard. So, yeah, I mean, it's special. It's special. It's an opportunity like no other. And as much as you think about this is what I think being a dad's going to look like. I can tell you now with 100% certainty that it's probably not going to look anything like that.
That's I take a lot from that, and I started saying, and I don't know what happened there. If that was it could have been possibly on my end, but I was thinking a lot about, and I've thought about this a lot this past week about how with my dad, like I think he felt because my situation, like I hate saying, it's worse than other people, but I try to be, especially now. I feel like a year or two ago, I really turned the corner and try to at least try. You're not gonna win every day, but you keep getting up no matter how many times life hits you and hits you hard, or you strike out. You go up there for the next at bat. And I think with my dad, um, him knowing that I couldn't play sports, I think it was really big for him to show me that sports could still, bring us together, unite us by going to games and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And I think he knew at that time, even as young as I was, well before I did, as ignorant or naive or whatever you want to call it, as I was as a kid. I think he knew at that time that, um, Scott, Scotty, he may never go up and hit a home run in a team sport, but it doesn't mean that he can't go and call a home run someday. And that's what I plan on doing with you, DJ. I know we've talked about it, but that's something that my dad and now I'm getting emotional.
Mhm.
Man, this has been a rough one, but I'll forever be grateful to him as he always gave me sports as kind of that I call it that medicine. And yeah, we wanted the Indians and the Cavs and eventually the Browns. Like we wanted them to win, but it was just still about having that experience with them as a kid and him working his ass off, busting his ass to get tickets to the games and take me up there and spend the whole day. It's something like that in the moment. You're just like, yeah, this is cool, but you don't truly like appreciate it until it's been years later until I finally started really appreciating all that my dad has done for me. And that's not to say, we've had our rocky times, we've butted heads, we've had big time differences of opinion like you had with
Mhm.
your dad, DJ. But um, people say this a lot, but in my case, it's really true. Like all the little bumps in the road, all the hurdles, the button heads, the arguments. It's just made our relationship stronger. And I really don't think my relationship with my dad would be the same if we didn't have that sports connection, that sports bond. And that's why we're talking about, starting something up together like a podcast. I know we talked with you about it, DJ,
I love it.
but it's man, I and again, if I'm ever fortunate enough to have the opportunity to, be a role model to a kid and be a father, obviously I gotta, meet a girl first. But if that chance ever comes where I get to be a father, I've seen you on enough, DJ, with Z and with Bella, that man, I think to myself, if I can be anything like DJ, if the opportunity would present itself down the road, if I could be anything like that as a father, like if I could be half of that, um, that would could really be something special. So, but um, again, even if I never become a father, I'll always appreciate fathers and their role, because you're right about the whole looking at as your dad as you kind of look at him as this superhero figure as a kid, like superhuman, no matter if he's good, bad, in between. So I just it's one of those things that, especially him letting me see somebody like Michael Jordan in one of the first live sports games I ever went to. I didn't realize how special it was at the time, but now looking back on it, it's like, man, I got to see uh, arguably he might go down. Who knows? He might end up being the goat forever. No one may surpass Jordan. So you just don't know. But
What's the
um,
one thing, Scotty, that you
so many
admire?
great
What
sports memories.
what's the, what's the one thing you admire most about your dad?
Um, the one thing I admire most, um, I would have to say with my dad is, um, even though he's been in some situations that have been less than ideal, and he didn't have the greatest upbringing. He didn't really have that father figure in his life. Um, I'd say the thing I admire most about him is just his um, resiliency and his ability to bounce back. And even when things aren't ideal for my dad, he still gets up, goes to work every day, works as hard as he can, gives it his best shot, and he's still done that, and he's not doing it. He's if he was listening, he might get pissed at me right now, but he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's doing it at 57. He's still every day, he taught me the value of hard work, and if and he taught me that if you get up and you work hard and you use your mind, he taught me what a great tool the mind was, and he taught me that if you get up, you work hard, you use your brain power, use your mind, you could be untouchable, no matter your circumstance. And I think that's what's made him so resilient, and that's also helped me become resilient. So that's what I admire most about my dad is just his drive and his will to succeed, and him instilling in me that no matter your circumstances, it's cliche, but if you put it in your mind that you want to achieve something, you can achieve it and overcome it. And I think at times early on, DJ, I even maybe played up, my card being in a wheelchair. I played it up too much, and I hate using that card. Um, but it doesn't mean that life still definitely there's times where it's like, man, there's times I'll think for a day or two, it's like, man, I'm not getting the same shot, I'm not getting a fair shot. But it's because of my dad and um a couple other people like him, like you. Um, you really helped me too. It's because of people like that even when I get down now, I don't stay down. And yeah, I wish, ideally some things could be different, but it doesn't mean I can't have a great life and get a lot out of it and put us make other people smile. And that's I think that's we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So um to go back to the famous Jim Valvano speech, I think it's important to smile and laugh, and even if you gotta cry, um, even if you get emotional, it's okay. But just take life and make the best of it.
Scotty had an agenda coming in today. I'm 100% certain it was to make everybody cry that's tuning into the Power Hour today. So I know you've at least got a couple tears misty eyed out of me, and I'm sure there's a couple more uh, around YS Nation. We're gonna take a break, Scotty. While we're on our break, why don't you think about the best father son duo that you can in sports that you can remember, even if they didn't play together, just from a standpoint of father son duos that you admire in sports. We're going to be back right after this on the YSN Power Hour.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn.
Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
go Raiders,
Go Dogs!
Go Cats, go Dogs, go Tigers.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour presented by our friends over at Toyota of Warren. Let's pop this one up. Oh, Mikey Ackelson, two legends. Miss you guys. Mike, we miss you too so much. I had a chance to talk to Mike on the phone last week, and he answers the phone. He goes, I know you can't be thinking about football yet. And every year I say, you know what? We're going to get Mike more involved, and then Mike gets just absolutely slaughtered with things that he loves to. And by golly, by gosh, there is nobody that has earned these opportunities more than the Mike Ackelson. And you talk about, Scotty, this whole show's been about dads, right? You talk about a dad that I think we can all look up to and see as a success. Mike Ackelson is one of the best dads you're ever going to meet. And I love hearing him, the joy in his voice, in his eyes, and when he talks about his kids, because as good as he is at his job with us and what he did for 21 WFMJ for 20, 30 years, whatever it was, he is the best dad and husband. And, you know, I love Mike Ackelson so much. He's one of the greatest men you'll meet. Between Mike and Dan Yeagley, those are two guys. You know, the question they always ask, like, what people would you want at your table, your dinner table, if you could have anybody? I'm going to tell you, like, I just want those two at my table. I'm going to eat, and those two can converse, because Mike's one of the best question and answer guys ever. And Dan Yeagley can tell you stories that it'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. A little bit of everything. So would love that. And then I'd probably invite Andy Hake, because he would be the entertaining human being in the room. And he'd have some stories too, which I love his stories. I love Andy, and I can't wait to do more. That'll be coming out in the next couple weeks. A couple more comments before we get to best father-son duos. All right, here we go. Sam chiming in says, Vlad and Vlad Jr. are one of my favorite father-son duos, but the Griffeys are probably the best I can think of. Interesting.
That he just don't. I was gonna say Vlad Jr. They're one of my favorites.
Chris Sigler wants to know who's the guy with the clean shave look. Let's get a closer look at that. Look at that.
I have cleaned up. Not
Scotty
looking
Babyface Mincher.
as scruffy, disheveled.
All right, so Vlad Jr. I can get behind that one. The Griffies are a no-brainer. Is there anyone that you can think of, Scotty, that off the top of your head, that father-son duos in sports that really stand out to you?
I know they didn't play together, but you like what immediately comes to mind for me is being so I told you this before, DJ. Baseball is my favorite sport to watch live. Football is my favorite sport to watch on television. I just think it's made for TV. As much as I love going to Browns games, it's also great on TV. And because I've always loved watching football, and going back to my earliest days of watching it, even before the Browns, I'll never forget when Peyton Manning was drafted in 1998. So I have to go because I remember I remember it. It's vague. I vaguely remember his like last year at Tennessee, but I would have to go Archie Manning and then Peyton and Eli. They immediately come to mind.
That's a great one. You stole it right from under my feet, Scotty, because as you know, I'm a huge Peyton Manning fan, Tom Brady fan, a guy named Roethlisberger as well. When it comes down to quarterbacks, I just love quarterback play. And I think that, when you think about father son and watching the Peyton Manning stuff, he's always talking about his dad, right? You always see the one clip where Peyton's, knee high to a grasshopper. And they said, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be like my dad. You know what I mean? Like that warms the old subcockles of your heart. But I, as much as I like that one, right? There's some other ones. There's some other ones that I can pull up. This is off the top of my head. I did not do any research on this, and I think we've talked about this before. Bobby and Barry Bonds.
That's a really good one.
That one I think is something that leaves a lot of people. How about Ed McCaffrey and Christian McCaffrey?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Ed McCaffrey, but that's a really good one too.
How about Dale Earnhardt and Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
I'll never forget. And I was obviously very sad, like anybody else. But the day Dale Earnhardt passed away, after the wreck, I was at home from school because I was sick. I'll never forget that day back in 2000. 440 saying Dell and Steph Curry.
That's a good one. Wait, who's the other dude? Steph and what the heck's his brother's name?
His brother's why can't I think of it now? I totally blank.
It starts with an S. It's and this is the problem.
Seth.
Yep.
Seth Curry.
This is the problem. Is that dude is probably the most depressed human being in the world because everybody forgets about him and goes right to Steph and Dell. And it's like, come on, man. Hopefully he doesn't see this show because he's probably going to just bang his head up. Some jabronis from Youngstown can't even remember Seth Curry's name, and he was in the league. So, yeah, great. Super duper.
Yeah.
Look at this. Moises Alou and his dad, Felipe. That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Siggy says, how about the pressure that had to be brought on to Junior from senior success. Example, Walter Payton Jr. What about, was it Jeffrey Jordan?
Yeah, Jeffrey Jordan.
One of them didn't even play basketball. Think about that pressure of
What about? I thought of another because I'm pretty sure I don't think he ever played professionally. But what about Barry Sanders?
my wife just texted me, how about Tiger Woods and his daddy?
Wow, how did we forget that one?
No, well, because it's from the Water Boy. It's, I don't think, did Earl Woods golf professionally?
I thought he did briefly, but
Did he?
I could be wrong.
I don't remember that. Maybe I'm way off base here, but I know she's laughing right now, just giggling because we could be like Tiger Woods and his daddy. What other ones? Dante Bichette and Bo Bichette. We talked about Vladdy and Vladdy Jr. Dante and Bo. I mean, Bo's turning into quite the ball player.
There's a lot of for as many people you got in Stiller Nation, DJ. There's a lot of Browns and there's a lot of Packer fans. So how about the
gosh, I know it's coming.
The Matthews.
How about Joey Porter Jr.? Because he's about as good as Clay Matthews is right now.
That's touche.
I mean, the best thing that Clay Matthews Jr. ever did was he was in the Pitch Perfect movie.
I mean, he won. Didn't he win us? He was on that Super Bowl team. He had a couple really good years.
Sure was. He sure was. I'm trying to think of any more. Did the Petties for sure, right? In racing, but were the Andretti's too? Father-son duo?
Yeah, I think there was, because there was Mario Andretti and
Michael, right?
Yeah.
And there's Cecil and Prince Fielder. That's a good one. Prince Fielder is a guy that I'll always say his career probably could have been cut 5 years too short. Because I think Prince Fielder, I know he had just annihilated the Pirates. Anytime he played the Pirates, he just beat the living tar out of them. But didn't he just up and quit? He's like, I'm done.
I think he did, yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other father-son duo. Now,
I
know there's a Kachuk. There's a Kachuk in hockey because he plays for the Panthers. And I think, now you never know in hockey because those Canadians are crazy and there's 1,500 of them. But I think Keith Kachuk is his dad. I'll have to look. Was it Matt Kachuk? What was his name? Matthew Kachuk and Keith Kachuk.
Yeah.
What about man? There's another one. Oh, Howie Long and Chris and Kyle Long.
Yeah, that's another. And they were both Howie Long was really good.
How about Joe and Kobe Bryant? No, did you know that Kobe's dad played basketball?
I did not know that, but that's that's a great one. I felt like there was one I had and I can't think of it now.
I'm trying to think of his name. Clay Thompson and his dad. Is it Michael? I think it's Michael with a Y. I think his name's Michael or Mikael or I forget. I think it's Michael with a Y, if I'm not mistaken.
There's also Larry Nance, senior and junior.
Oh yeah. What's the dude who used to play for Golden State? The perimeter player, the point guard. Hardaway.
Tim and
Isn't his son's name Tim too? Yeah.
yeah, Tim. Yeah, they're both Tim. Tim and Tim Hardaway Jr.
Who was the coach for the Celtics? And his kid came up through Duke, right? Maybe Kentucky, Duke or Kentucky. Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers. Yeah, and Derek Rivers. No, not Derek Rivers. He was
Austin Rivers.
Austin, yeah. Derek Rivers was my issue.
What other ones are we missing? Didn't the Boone brothers dad play?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I knew they were brothers. I just didn't know if they had. I feel like their dad played. Rick Barry and John Barry. That's a good one. That deep.
Is a good one.
That's coming from the internet. I'm not buying what you're selling there, Samuel. That's internet assist. I'm calling that.
What about? I know they didn't play, but what about as far as announcing tandem? Jack and Joe Buck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm ashamed of this one. Jim Daly calling me out and just pure stupidity, and I should turn in my Steelers card. Craig Hayward, Ironhead Hayward, and Cam Hayward. And the hell is his name? I forget. He's a tight end, 83. Whatever Cam's brother's name is, he gets it too. He hasn't done anything yet, though. Patrick Mahomes and his dad. Now, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Did Patrick Mahomes' dad play baseball?
I think I want to say he was a baseball player.
Because Patrick Mahomes was going to be a baseball player. He was an outstanding baseball player. He was going to be an MLB guy.
Yeah.
There were like 3 Barrys in the NBA. And all of them were on that internet search, Samuel, that you just pulled up. I guarantee it. I guarantee it went like this. Father-son duo in sports. Click. John Barry and his dad.
And it hasn't happened yet, but LeBron's son's gonna be an NBAer.
Yeah,
Bronny.
That's got to be tough. I mean,
yeah, because he's never like he's really good. He's never gonna be as good as LeBron.
What if he is? Like, what if the conversation turns to who's better, MJ or LeBron, to who's better, Braun or Bronny?
That would be something.
What if Bronny ends up? Listen, can I just ask this question? What if Bronny is like Scottie Pippen, right? But ends up with 6 rings because he hooks up with like the best player in the NBA at the time. Who's better, Bronny or Braun?
See, I don't like. So you're saying, I mean, what if? Because Brady's got 7 Super Bowls, right? Let's say Pat Mahomes wins 3 more. Say he wins 5. There's no argument for Pat Mahomes. Brady.
We've had this dumb conversation before. I don't know what you and Anthony have going with Patrick Mahomes, but it needs to end. Like, you guys are like on his jock like a strap. It's unbelievable.
But I'm just saying, DJ, he's clearly the best. And it's not me I hate Kansas City, but he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Who's better right now?
Okay, so let me ask you this question. He's got 2 championships right now?
And he's only 27, 28?
Yep. So, you're right. So, but he takes a lot more risk than Tom Brady. Yes or no? I don't know how we got here. I'm blaming this one on you, Scotty.
Yeah, I'd say he does. Yeah, he takes a lot more risks. But
We had this beautiful show that had people in tears talking about their dads and next thing you know, we're talking about your quasi daddy in Patrick Mahomes and like how he's gonna pass Tom Brady, who is the daddy of football. I guess is how we got there. If we're tying it all together.
I mean, you could say what you want, but if Pat Mahomes, if he never played another down, and if he quit
Oh,
tomorrow,
please.
he'd be in the Hall of Fame. He'd have to.
Oh, oh, Scotty. I don't I'm not agreeing nor disagreeing with you. Okay. But
You're just
you put Patrick Mahomes on this like godlike just platform, just pedestal. Like he can do no wrong. You realize that he's been in the league for how many years?
and he's won 2 Super Bowls,
Yeah. So if he's been in the
two
league for
league
what, 6 years?
MVPs.
Has he been in here in 6 years? 5 years, 6 years ish? Gotta be because he's on his second contract, right?
So how many did Brady have? Year 5 and 6.
I believe he had 3 or 4. Because didn't he win the first year?
I don't.
Yeah, the Patriots won the Super Bowl the first year, and he was the quarterback because Bledsoe went
But
down.
it wasn't his first year in the league.
Yes,
He
it
got
was.
drafted in 2000. They didn't win it until
Okay.
it was
Okay.
maybe.
His
I don't know.
Okay, so let's just put it this way, Scotty. Let's just throw it out there because people are tired of the Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes talk that you constantly love shoving down our throat. And this was a show about dads, man. This was a show about dads, fathers, and you bring in Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady out of nowhere, out of left field, dude. Out of left field.
It's not my fault. It's the whoever said the Mahomes father-son duo.
You
They're
were
the
about
one
as
that
sneaky as
started
a
it.
fat kid in a bubble wrap factory. Like it was just pop, 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 pop the whole way down. Like I saw that coming a mile away. I was like, here it comes. Here it comes. Somebody said Patrick Mahomes. Here it comes. Patrick Mahomes is already better than Tom Brady. He's going to be the best of all time. Like every single time. Like
I
somebody can
didn't. I
Scotty,
didn't
somebody could be
say.
talking about their home, and all of a sudden you shift it to Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. Somebody's talking about helping out a homeless person by giving him $1, and you say, well, you know who's the best? Patrick Mahomes, because he's been in the league for 6 years and he's got 2 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs. This is what I feel the rest of the world is doing right now. That's what they're doing.
I mean, again, I hate the Chiefs. I'm just saying it's not
Then why are
always.
you the biggest Chiefs fan on this show? Like I can invite Anthony and he would take a back seat to your Chiefs Kingdom BS.
I hate the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it's not like
If the Browns left right now, who would you be a
it's
fan of?
about championships, but the number isn't always the biggest. I mean, why isn't Bill Russell considered the GOAT then over
Because
Michael Jordan?
nobody ever watched him play. That has something to do with it.
What about Robert Horry? He's got 7 rings.
That's what I'm saying. If Bronny, that's where this whole thing started, dude. If Bronny has 7 rings, is he better than his dad that has 4?
No, he's
Why
good,
not?
but
Why not?
because it doesn't always work that way.
Bronny's going to play in the league for 7 years. He's going to win 7 rings, and he's going to retire, and he's going to go do something different. His dad plays for 38 years, and gets
Okay. Let me throw this out.
okay. We go ahead.
Eli and Peyton both have 2 rings.
Mhm.
So are you gonna say they're equal? They canceled each other out.
I'm not, but you're already comparing someone with 7 Super Bowl rings to someone who has 2. I'm not very good at math, Scotty, but I think 7 is greater than 2.
It is, but you can't like Eli has the same amount of rings as Peyton, so should Eli, you know, and he won his second one first before Peyton won his second one. So should he get in the Hall of Fame before Peyton? I don't think so.
Did Eli get in first ballot? I think he did. Or I think he will. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he probably will, and I'm saying it's wrong. He wasn't. He was never even the best player on his own team. Peyton Manning's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
You can't. You're stumped because you know I'm right.
No, I'm looking at this comment. Are you seeing this comment?
Tom Brady should wish Eli Happy Father's Day every year.
People are just taking my love for Tom Brady. And Sam's probably chuckling right now, loving life, because he got one in on me about Tom Brady. Because this is what you guys do.
But, dude, even let me, this is the final thing. Just let me say this and then we could wrap it up, okay?
Okay.
Even if LeBron had, let's say LeBron had 7 titles right now and not 4. Let's live in a fun hypothetical world. Even if LeBron had 7 titles right now, you would still say that in your mind Jordan's the GOAT because you told me yourself that LeBron has played in an NBA that's as soft as tissue paper and he wouldn't have survived in Jordan's era. But he would have more titles, but to you it wouldn't matter. So you see what I mean?
Oh boy. You know what it's time for. Radar Spark.
Radar. Since Father's Day is Sunday.
Oh, Scotty, since Father's Day is Sunday, I'd like to wish to all the dads out there, especially Scotty's dad, a very happy Father's Day 2023.
I'm surprised. I thought for sure something about football or the audible call would be in that.
Oh, Omaha, there's only 10 weeks till the first audible call.
I'm Radar Pavlov, and you're not.
And
the
my sports network is your sports network. All right. You got a spark, or should we just leave it be since we kind of sparked it up earlier?
I mean, I got one. Sure.
All right, here we go. It's the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, industrial, anything electrical, head over to DickeyElectric.com. Scotty.
Okay, so my spark today, and I know he's gone right now. They left early this morning because it is wedding season. They have a wedding, but early spark. I know Father's Day Sunday, but early spark to my dad. As I mentioned earlier, just so impactful, and he got me into sports. And if I didn't have him or sports, you know, I wouldn't be who I am today, or even close to it. I wouldn't be talking here right now. So I just want to give kudos one last time before Father's Day to my dad. So that's it.
All right. Hi. I'd also like to give kudos to Scotty's dad, but not the one that gave him life, but the one that continues to give him life on this show. And that's Patrick Mahomes. Happy Father's Day, Patrick, from all of the Minchers, but especially Scotty, here from the Ysn Power Hour.
Oh, man, it's going to be really funny if Pat Mahomes, I mean, not saying that I want this because I think Deshaun's going to lead the next dynasty.
Oh my gosh.
But if he didn't, it would be pretty funny if Pat Mahomes won like 8 Super Bowls. But I think the Browns will probably get at least 2 out of these next 3 years.
Bet.
At least.
Bet.
That's I'll bet
2 out of the next 3 years. Is that what I heard?
2 out of the next 3, baby. Let's go. We have a roster loaded. It's built to win now. Go big or go home, baby.
Scotty, I'm pretty sure, is drunk during this show today. You've shown all the stages of alcoholism right here on the Ysn Power Hour, kids. Stay away. Don't do drugs and don't drink. That's going to do it for our show. In all seriousness, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your kids. Enjoy your lovely significant others. We'll be thinking of you naturally. And of course, we couldn't do anything without you. So God bless you. And Scotty, why don't you take us home here, buddy?
Yeah, happy Father's Day to everyone out there. And, people think I'm a fool, but, the Browns, they always, every time I think I'm out.
You go from
they
sentimental
pull me
to
back
being a
in.
butthole in like 3 seconds because you talk about the Browns. Stop it. Tell everybody happy Father's Day. End it.
Okay. Happy Father's Day. See you next week. Have a great time
Good night,
with
everybody.
family and friends.
YSN thanks you for